And think about it. After all, the promise of America is what makes it possible for Tim Walz and me to be together on this stage today. Think about that. Think about that. Think about it. 2 middle-class kids, one a daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother. I had a summer job at McDonald's. The other, a son of the Nebraska plains who grew up working on a farm.
There isn't any proof so far. And she just started saying this, like, I'd say within the last 2 years, maybe less. And that's what Donald Trump is saying. Where was this on your resume 20 years ago? Because there is no hard proof that she ever worked at McDonald's.
Kamala's campaign has been riddled with all kinds of doubt, especially regarding the statement where she claims that she worked at McDonald's. And just like clockwork, we've got the New York Times saving face for the VP. They recently posted that the only proof we need is the word of her campaign and one of Kamala Harris's friends insisting she actually worked there. Which in all honesty really isn't proof at all. She claims that back in 1983, she worked the cash register, French fry station, and even the ice cream machine of a McDonald's in Alameda, California. Something that Donald Trump claims are all lies. But here's something that actually happened.
Yeah, fire them up! Yup.
You must be thinking to yourself, that's a long line for McDonald's, isn't it? So it's either their ice cream machines are all working or you've got Donald Trump at the drive-thru. As it turns out, the latter is true.
Well, I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's. I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So,
President Trump!
well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody.
Crazy.
I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody. Look at all the fake news of it.
That's right, guys. Donald Trump has taken the words right out of Kamala Harris's mouth and turned them into reality. Now, the only difference is that only one of them can actually claim that they worked at McDonald's. Now, I have to say, this is a great move since we're in the final stretch of the election. I guess you could call it a slam dunk, given the many interactions that Donald Trump had with customers and workers alike. And it's also fitting because the former president loves fast food. Back in 2019, Donald Trump hosted the Clemson University football team at the White House. Since the government was shut down at this time, he decided to use his own money to pay for all their food. The food, as you guys can see from this insane photo, was all fast food, one of which was a ton of McDonald's. So I think it's pretty safe to say that American fast food has a spot in Donald Trump's heart, especially since he's also talked about the importance of these establishments and the jobs that they produce. So here's a few of the interactions that Donald Trump had with the people in Philadelphia. Check this out.
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Look at all the fake news of it. Hello, everybody.
You can fake this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it
Please,
good.
Please, please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments
President.
of Trump.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so
You
much
are
for
not
everything you're
ordinary.
doing.
I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much.
To say that Donald Trump is a man of the people would be an understatement. He's a businessman. He understands how to talk to the people without the need of a teleprompter, something that Kamala Harris needs to learn real fast because she's sliding down in the polls. Not the polls that some people dance on, I'm talking about the voter polls. I just had to make that clear because we are talking about Kamala Harris here. And reporters on site here, they were quick to ask questions to the former president, especially since this is a direct shot at Kamala Harris's history.
Tell you what, it's a great franchise, it's a great company, and they've been very, very nice. And you know, if you look at really what's happening, look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope. They need hope. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to give much more than hope.
What does working the fryer tell you about the people of Pennsylvania?
Make it fact.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your resume?
I never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will it be put on your resume?
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala.
Trump wasn't just at the drive-thru. He actually took the time to learn some of the things that they did there, and he tried it for himself. Trump also talked about the reasoning behind this political stop.
My first day at McDonald's, I'm looking for a job.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries where I'll be working.
Mr. Trump, why did you feel it was important to come here today?
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. I give them extra sauce.
That's good.
Well, that's a good looking group. Hello, everybody. This is all on Trump. Oh, look. I'm allowed to do that, right? Yeah. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
And while some supporters of Donald Trump are loving this idea, mainstream liberal media is seething. I mean, they're so pissed off about the amount of support that he's getting in these particular swing states that this is how they reported his trip to McDonald's.
What is the logic behind this, going to a McDonald's? I mean, we know the guy likes Big Macs and filet of fish, and he's used the word love to describe the way he feels about the food there before. But what's this about?
There's no logic to it. It's a stunt. He has not put forth an economic agenda. He, as you know, appears to be not well, and he's engaged in some really bizarre types of activities during this campaign. So this is just another one of those stunts that he will continue on through the campaign. And I think that we need to really focus on making sure that he is not elected, of course, because he is a threat to our democracy.
There's that violent rhetoric against Donald Trump again, guys. It's like they haven't learned enough from the multiple assassination attempts on him. But of course, they would pin the violence back on him. You know, it's got to be his fault that he's the one who influences harm against his political rivals. And while we have to agree that Donald Trump calls Biden and Harris stupid, he also has enough class to do what's right depending upon the situation.
Today's Kamala's birthday.
It's Kamala's birthday?
She's turning
60 years old?
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, I would say happy birthday, Kamala. She's turning 60.
Did you get her some fries?
I think I'll get her some flowers.
Why not to beat her?
Maybe I'll get her some fries. You're right, that might be. I'll give her some McDonald's. I'll get her a McDonald's hamburger.
Thank you.
No, it is her birthday. It is true, right? Happy birthday, Kamala. Happy birthday.
So what are you guys' thoughts on this, guys? I mean, they've painted Donald Trump as this sort of a billionaire villain, maybe like a Batman, but then is Batman the villain? No, I don't think so. So I worked in the IT field for years, and luckily I happen to work for a company where we do business with a lot of different vendors. And one of these vendors used to take us out to lunch on a very regular basis. Let's just say like maybe once a month, once every 2 months. But when I say they would take us out to lunch, they would take us out to lunch. I'm talking about they would take us to some of these really fancy restaurants that I would only hear about or I drive past them. But they were very expensive places. And I'll be honest with you guys, I just wasn't in a position where I was willing to pay that kind of money for food. They're very expensive. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, so one day we go to lunch and right around, it was a late lunch. So right around, I don't know, like 1:30, 2 o'clock, we're leaving and we're waiting for the car to be pulled up because they have mandatory valet. So anyway, while we're waiting for our car to get pulled up, I'm staring at this beautiful black Ferrari 458, and I'm like, wow, this thing is crazy. I don't even get to see those kind of cars often. I don't know if it's just me being a car guy, but I just wonder sometimes, like, how do people afford these things? So after the valet pulls the car up, the owner starts walking towards it, and I just happen to say, hey man, that's a sharp car. So the owner turns around and says to me, thanks, I appreciate it. So then I say to him, since he seemed friendly, I was like, hey, is that your first Ferrari? So he turns around and he says, oh no, I have 6 more, but this is probably one of my favorite ones. I said 6 more? That response sparked a 2-minute conversation that I had with this guy. And let me tell you, what he shared with me in that brief 2-minute conversation completely changed my life. And it's life-changing conversations and lessons like this that I decided to share right inside of our Liberty Pursuit network. And to be honest with you, it really wasn't even so much the car that he was driving. It just made me think to myself, like, how does this guy just have the freedom to be able to live his life the way he did? Nice car, hanging out at a fancy restaurant in the middle of the afternoon. It really made me wonder, how do you do that? Anyway, when I was living paycheck to paycheck, I wish that I knew people like this that would kind of like let me know the inside scoop. So anyway, if you want to join like-minded people just like us, join us over in the Liberty Pursuit Network. I left a link for you guys in the description down below this video.
You know, they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit. Proud like Detroit. Resilient like Detroit. We're talking about the same Detroit that innovated the auto industry and the music industry. So put some respect on Detroit's name.
I'm not sure if she understands what she just said though, because Donald Trump was obviously referring to crimes. And just recently, Detroit was ranked as the 2nd least safe city here in our country. So I really don't think that she fully grasped the idea of having the entire country be like Detroit. That would be horrible. But it's not like these millionaires have ever stayed in touch with the reality that many Americans are facing today, which is why it's pretty easy for them to endorse just about anybody, because it's not like the presidency is going to actually affect their lifestyle. It's the normal, average, everyday American that suffers when leadership is based on feelings and not facts. But here's the thing, guys. Polling shows that more voters are realizing how good they had it 4 years ago. It's now forced a lot of people like Josh Shapiro to try and gaslight us into believing that Kamala Harris is the answer to our economic problems.
More Americans feel as though President Biden's policies have hurt them rather than help them. So can you name one key policy difference between Vice President Harris and President Biden? How would her administration look different?
You know, I've been really encouraged by the amount of energy that Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, has put into focusing on how she will cut taxes for small businesses. The focus on childcare tax credit expansion. That's something I've done here in Pennsylvania. We've seen that work to ease the burden on families. I think a focus on those kinds of things is particularly important. And those are the kinds of things I think Kamala Harris has brought specifically to this race.
Those aren't necessarily differences, though. They're an expansion or a tweak to some extent to what's been done. Can you name one policy difference?
Well, listen, again, the contrast I am focused on, Kristen, is between her and Donald Trump. And on that, I think it is clearly different. I don't want to go back to Donald Trump when he was in charge of this country. Remember the record. I know there's still some people that have maybe a little brain fog. They don't remember what it was like. Under Donald Trump, you had more chaos, you had less jobs, and you had a whole lot less freedom. I don't think we want to go back to a time of chaos. I want a stable, strong leader, and that's Kamala Harris.
You can give Josh Shapiro all the time in the world to answer that question. But there is nothing different about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, especially when it comes to policies. So their new way forward, it's a little bit misleading to say the least. And this kind of gaslighting to make us believe that things were so bad under Donald Trump, it's not going to work anymore. But this presidential campaign is revealing the truth. I covered this in a previous live stream where Trump responded to a woman who was suffering from a sudden panic attack. I know, it was crazy. You're not going to want to miss that because I was shocked at what he did. Now, as always, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. I'll see you guys next time.